Welcome, adventurers, to the Drunken Dragon. How are you, Terror?
I am very, very good, Vladik. How are you doing this fine Thursday evening?
Well, hyped for another celebration of the great work that we've been doing together. The dev team, the community. I think a lot has happened this last month. It's amazing.
I think this last month, from the last dev blog on the 20th of December until now, I think it's probably the most things that have happened in the whole time the project's been alive. So yeah, everyone's going to be super hyped to see some of the stuff today, I think.
Yeah, and I think on each month it's just going to be more and more and more. I think there's going to be a moment that we won't be able to show everything in 1 or 2 hours. Actually, we had to shorten this presentation a bit because it just had so much content. But
yeah, I saw people working away all day on the Google Sheets, and I was just like, "There's too much here. How are we going to fit this into the time we've got?" But I'm sure we'll make it work anyway.
Well, let's start our celebration of work and adventure. Let's see. So let's change to the slides. Where is it? Here. There you go. All right, so let's start. So, as we always start, we start by remembering who we are and what we're doing, why we are doing all of this. Because our mission is to create an epic universe, the most epic universe to experience and share our love for fantasy. This is a project of community and of love for fantasy. So that's why we're here, and we have 3 core commitments of the development team: quality, community involvement, and transparency. We really want to make the best universe possible, and I think that the only way in which we can achieve this is if we build it together. So that's why we're doing these monthly live streams, and that's why we're in constant engagement with you, and that's why some stuff that we'll talk about at the end of the presentation. But let's start by celebrating 2 new team members that joined in December and January, so this month. We're expanding our team. As always, we're very committed to delivering and to using every single data that we make from this into making this universe even bigger. So let's start with David, our 2D support artist. He's a creative, he's a really creative person, and we recruit him because of that. And he's gonna be helping us bring some of the merchandise to life.
We finally get to answer the question, when merch, so I think that's a little spoiler, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about that also in a moment. But he's also a great event organizer back in Mexico. He does anime and video game. He has an anime and video game convention. So I think he's a great addition to the team, and you'll see some of his work later today. Also, we have Zero. He's a senior gameplay developer. He's a master of Unreal Engine, and he joined the Drunken Dragon to work specifically on the combat, which then again something that we'll be talking about today. He loves prototyping, which is super good because this is a constant, something we constantly do inside Drunken Dragon games. He's passionate about creating amazing experiences, exactly what we want to create. And of course, he loves video games. tactic games, which is funny enough a coincidence, and electronic music. I also like electronic music. All right, well, please everyone, welcome David, welcome Zero. You can find them in Discord. Raise your mug to them, because they'll be helping us build this amazing universe. So, Terror, tell us what has happened with the community this last month.
I'll tell you what, lots and lots and lots has happened this month. I think mainly our social media presence is like super like it's gone up so much. So like our Discord has gone from 4889 to 5203, which is we welcomed 314 new adventurers to the Drunken Dragon, which is incredible. We've actually hit our goal of 5,000, which is awesome. We finally got there, which we'll talk about in a moment. I want to give a shout out to the guys that are running the Facebook account. I don't really give the Facebook account enough love, and I don't think everyone does. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to put a link in the chat to our Facebook account. I think it's Josh who runs that, and he's doing a great job of keeping everyone engaged over there, posting content daily. So definitely go and check that out. I'll post it once I finish my slides. Also, our Twitter followers have gone up by 402, so we've gone from 7868 to over 8,000, which was our goal, which is good. And then our YouTube this month has had a hugely increased demand. We've had 7,213 views on our YouTube channel, as well as 114 subscribers, which is a big influx. I think that's due to the fact we've released 4 new videos this month, a couple of narrated pieces about the actual about the project, but also a couple of guides, which I'm hoping you guys in the community have enjoyed learning a bit more about the game. Next up, we're going to have a look at our art contest. So yeah, we ran an art contest from the 20th of December until I think it was the 17th or the 19th of January. And here are your winners. So we have Pyoxix, who is in first place, who wins a Grandmaster Lars. We have Juan Ra, who wins a Mystical Orb of Evil, and we have Lucas Schmidt, who wins Swordmaster Noctis. So congratulations, thank you to everyone who entered the contest. It was good to see all of your entries, and you guys are the winners of this contest. I'll be reaching out to you guys within the next couple of days to get your addresses so we can send over your winnings, and we're currently in discussion about our next community event, which will be coming up in February, so stay tuned for that. So yeah, look out for that one. I'll be of course announcing that as normal, but we have had a giveaway that has been going on for what feels like 12 years, maybe 13 years, and that is the community invite contest. And we finally got to the end because we reached 5,000 adventurers at the Drunken Dragon. So congratulations to everyone who was doing the invite contest. Of course, a big shout out to Map Games Forever, because he was the guy who brought in so many people from the Reddit posts that he was making, and it was great to see the effort that went into this. So we've got 749 invites for Map Games Forever, 121 invites for Delayed 6, 84 invites for Vintier, and then 50 invites for me. Winning a first place would be all the epics and a GMA. Second place was the all the rares and a GMA. Third place, all the commons, and fourth place was all the commons, and everyone who was in 10 or more entries are in for a raffle. So a human GMA will be raffled out. Vladik will of course announce that when he's rolled the dice on that one. But again, I'll be reaching out to you guys in the next sort of 24 to 48 hours to get your addresses, so that you can absolutely get the rewards you are deserved, because without you guys getting the notoriety in the community and helping us grow in the social media space, it's been really epic of you guys. So yeah, Map for Games, Ladix and Vintier, and a little bit by myself as well. Good work to everyone there. And last but not least, of course, the crap chatters. I'm looking at you, Vimtir, and you, Map Games, although not Map Games, Mushroom, should I say? We've had quite a lot of chatting this month from Vimtir. As you can see, he's gone up from 56 to 64 since our last dev blog, which is quite high, considering. Mushroom, you've slacked. You've not written a lot in the last month. 56 to 56. You need to get yourself in the Discord more and chat a lot of crap like Vimtir. But the other three at the bottom are exactly the same as they was on the 20th of December. But it's cool to see all you new guys that are turning up from the Charles video from a couple of days ago, from the Reddit. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask in the general tavern. There are lots of us that are willing to help, not just me and the innkeepers. There are loads of cool people in the community. Your questions will be answered within like 5 minutes of writing them in there. And if you've got any real deep concerns, send me a DM and we'll work it out, whatever you need. But that is our community spotlight for the month, Vladik. And the next thing is to look at the in-game art. So I'll hand that over to you, my friend.
All right, thank you very much, Terror. There was some comments regarding the volume of the microphones. So I'm just gonna super fast ask people, is this better? And also I'm gonna ask the bunny, which is right here. You cannot see her because she's magical.
I think it's better.
Cool.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, I turned my mic down a little bit because apparently I was a little bit too loud.
Oh, don't worry, Terror. I reduced your volume in Discord, so all is good.
Cool. We're winning, man. That's all good. But yeah, Mushroom Mage, he just wrote in the chat that he's got IRL stuff to do, so that's all good, bro. We all know that IRL a lot of the times comes first, so you keep doing what you're doing, bro. But it's good to see you in the chat, mate.
Right, awesome. Thank you very much, Terror. And thank you to the community. Then again, you're part of this adventure. We're building this together because we're constantly hearing you. And what I'm super excited about is that, we launched Alpha last month, and this month, we started releasing versions weekly, and we'll talk about this in a couple of slides. But we're starting to implement things that come from you. So you're as much part of this adventure as every single member of the development team. So please make your voice heard. In Discord we have a voting channel, a mechanism for suggestions, and we'll be constantly hearing them or reading them. But more of that in a moment. But first, let's talk about the art in-game, because we have something to announce and show. GMAs are coming to the Drunken Dragon.
Everyone's wanted this, Vladik. Everyone's wanted this for months and months and months. It's finally here.
Finally. And let me announce something else. Well, no. I'll wait for that one. So let's if you guys have been following the Twitter, you've already seen the Druid. We'll share some of the images of the Druid. I think this is the first time we showed the Cleric, which is what we're working on right now. But also, we really wanted to make them feel special, like something which, this is what we sold to fund the first stage of the project. So we really want to give back by adding interesting things in the game, which are only unlockable by Grandmaster Adventurers, without making it pay to win, right? So the first way in which we want to do that is by creating some furniture which is only available if you own at least one Grandmaster Adventurer. And I think something that we've been playing with the ideas, and what we came up with first is this idea of creating weapon racks, which are class themed and which change depending which Grandmaster Adventurers you have. So we really want to reward those collectors and those who maybe are collecting a set of something or want one of each. So if you've been, like, for example, collecting every weapon that there is of clerics, if you own every single weapon of clerics, you'll be able to have this furniture in its fullest glory. So then again, we'll do this for each class, and depending on how this is received, we might even do a bit more. But please, guys, tell us what you think about this, and if you like it.
They look awesome, man. They look awesome. Like, I think what I like about the cleric one is just how, like, the weapons aren't all there as weapons. There's just little motifs that kind of display like the weapons, and it really fits in with the sort of like dynamic of the world we're creating. So yeah, the artwork on these two is absolutely incredible.
All right, awesome. Well, so let's continue. Also, we wanted to show, we first showed the first two classes that they're mostly complete, but there's more work that we've been doing. These are one of the ways also we want to make the Grandmaster Adventures feel special and more powerful, and following this metaphor that we're having of miniatures is by creating like really cool, awesome bases that are class themed as well. So, well, this is the output that we achieved actually this week. I think they're looking absolutely amazing. Which one is your favorite, Terror?
I'm looking at the Warlock one there, and I can see a little skull with green eyes on the bottom, so I think that's going to be my favourite one.
Yeah, right.
Although Simone just said torch weapon confirmed, so well, a little Easter egg in there maybe.
Yeah, those torches. They make their appearance. I think that torch has a GMA on his base, right? On its base.
Yeah, I reckon that's right.
All right, cool, awesome. I cannot wait to see this in game, and for you guys to actually start creating your tavern dioramas with them. I think they look just amazing. The art team is doing an amazing job here.
I think it's just testament to how quick the this stuff's coming out. Like sometimes, like towards late last year, we were seeing bits and bobs, and you were sharing things with me here and there. Now in January, the amount of art that has come out has been like constant. Every single day, you see new things. And you're like, wow, this is just moving full steam ahead. So yeah, shout out to all the art guys because they are absolutely smashing it at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I think that. What is happening with Drunken Games, the game studio, the company, is that we're accelerating. That's because when you're creating a company, the first stage is always to discover the processes and the pipelines that you have to create in order to start outputting things. And our art pipelines are really maturing a lot. And this can be reflected by exactly what you said, Terror, is the rate at which we create content and we refine things increases, right? And this is just gonna become faster and faster and faster. And one of our objectives is to really grow exponentially because there is a huge universe with a lot of adventures to have. So we need to get there.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, then let's talk about the actual game, because we showed you that we're working on the in-game art to create the Grandmaster Adventurers. But what we have to announce today is that version A2204, which is a version that we'll be deploying this week, we'll have already the druids and some new emoticons. So we're actually, I think maybe it's already there, or probably in a couple of hours, you'll be able to download the newest version, and if you have a druid, you'll be able to place it in your tavern.
There's got to be some hype in the chat for this one. There's got to be some hype for this one. Straight away, the first Grandmaster adventure to finally come to the tavern so soon after the new year. Big hype.
And I think it was well, some guys at the art team, and they created this scene with the pixel tiles receiving the Grandmaster adventurers to the tavern. I think it's just wonderful.
Absolutely.
And something important to say is that we have figured out the technical implementation of bringing the Grandmaster Adventurers. We have figured out the pipelines to create the art. So we truly think that bringing new classes into the game will go really fast. So how fast? We're hoping for maybe 2 a week, but time will prove that. Hopefully, maybe even faster. But we're really trying to deliver this as soon as possible with the best possible quality. And please, adventurers, go to Discord and tell us, did you like it? Is there some issue that you see? Make your voice always be heard, because it will be heard. So with this version also comes this wine slime and beer slime emojis for your adventurers to use in game. But these are not gonna be usable immediately, because they will come in the form of fungible tokens. So if you own one of these fungible tokens, you'll be able to use them. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna attach this to the new Cardano pool reward system, so staking rewards. I know that you guys have been, and rightly so, a little bit impatient about what is gonna happen with the reward system of the Cardano pool. And what I can announce right now is that we're thinking on doing something like what is happening with the drip drops. We either will apply to them or do our own thing, but that means that depending on how much Cardano ADA you've been staking to our Cardano pool, and through how many epochs or epics, you'll be able to accumulate what we call Dragon Silver. And Dragon Silver is a token that you'll be able to claim and use it to purchase some extra features. Right now we wanted to create this to see if emojis is something you guys would like to collect. So we're gonna throw it there. We're gonna offer half on, well, we're still figuring out specifics, so also please, from everything that I'm saying right now, I want to hear your voice and what you think. But right now the plan is to sell half to help fund the project and further expand. You guys have seen we deliver, we expand, we continue building, and that's why we want to keep funding the project, right? And we want not just to ask money to you and give you back nothing. We actually want to create products that you get excited to collect and use. So these slimes will be a test to see if people and adventurers like them, if there's something that you would like to purchase to get in as a stake pool rewards. And from here we're gonna learn, and if people like it, we're gonna develop more emojis and more emoji collections. And also with the stake pool, with the Dragon Silver, we're gonna add more stuff to Dragon Silver rewards as we go, as we learn again, especially when new collections come by. Make some exclusives to the pool for in exchange of Dragon Silver. Of course, is something that has happened really exciting in the Cardano environment right now in January is that decentralized exchanges are now live in Cardano main chain, which means that Dragon Silver is something that potentially you can go and also trade, so it will a reward of itself as well, without having to be a collector necessarily. So that's what we're gonna try. That's what we're gonna experiment with. The implementation will come either next month or March. Of course, this is also a priority for us, but we're doing several things at the same time. But of course, we don't want to forget about our delegators. You guys are also helping us fund the project. So thank you very much for your support. We appreciate it a lot, definitely. With your support, we're able to create this world. All right. So
this is the one everyone's been waiting for, by the way. This is the big news.
So combat. So as I told you, we got an amazing Unreal Engine game developer full-time just to work on combat, and he's so amazing that in the 3 weeks that he's been working with us, he already has a prototype, and a very, very early prototype of what the combat it's gonna be like. Before you see this video, please take into consideration that this is extremely early and it's gonna be evolving a lot. And it's so early that if while testing this we don't like the direction it's going, we might just scrape it and start over. Our objective with the combat is for an activity to be really fun, as everything we do. But something important is that one of our base one of our fundamentals here is that the combat should be easy to get into, but with a lot of depth. So I would love to potentially see people playing esports around it, etc. So let's see the video and we'll talk a bit more after that. Are you ready, Terror?
I'm absolutely ready to go.
Then again, extremely early, but already starting to picture what we want to do. Alright. Let me do something for Terror, because he needs to see the video as well, so I need to share the correct image. There you go, Terror. You're also watching it.
There we
right?
go. I can see it perfect. Lovely. Let's. I'm strapped in. Let's go.
All right. All right. So that was a close one, isn't it? So what are we seeing here? What we're going for is so what I wanted for the combat is something that first of all allows for a lot of strategy, right? So I just didn't want something to go for like just go and kill, right? Because one of the ideas that we have for the collectibles or the usage of NFTs is that collecting more adventurers should be fun and not pay to win, right? So in the way in which we want to achieve that is the way in which trading card games do it, like Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, etc. So basically, with the base deck, you can beat anyone. The period, right? So you need to be good. But if you buy more cards or more, if you purchase more trading packs, you'll have a myriad of other possibilities of other strategies, and it's it's gonna be fun to mix and match, etc. So in this case, it has to be a combat that allows for that strategy and all those builds that you want, that you will be able to do. Your parties will always be between 1 and 5 adventurers, and every adventurer will bring to the table up to 4 skills. This means that if you have like a 5 adventurer party, you'll have 20 skills available to you. So the reason why we did it tactics like with the hexagonal grid is because then it's not just like a hack and slash. There's a potential of more strategy involved. But then again, we didn't want to have turns because I want this game to have a high level of multiplayer, up to the point in which it's hard to tell if it is or not an MMORPG. This means that potentially in a same combat there should be more than one player, potentially like tens of parties or even more, right? So we needed something live action, right? So that's why we took the idea of there's online chess you can play without turns, and there's just like a cooldown on each piece, and that looks like a lot of fun. That is a lot of fun, and we want to try that out. So let me show you some of the concepts that we have for skills, etc. By first changing back to the slides. And also for terror.
There's a lot of talk in the chat here, Vladik, that there's going to be a lot of people betting and gambling, and everyone's got their money on you to beat all the different innkeepers in the tavern. So some sort of betting syndicate might have to come out.
Awesome. We have two types of characters. There's adventurers and there's like non-adventuring characters, but all of them will have the option to fight. So you can definitely throw some maidens, and some of the we were talking about like which skills, like for example a tavern maiden could have, like maybe throwing some like barrels of beer or something like that. Like there's a champion in League of Legends called Gragas. Yeah.
Use a beer tray as like a boomerang and like flick it and like try and throw it at someone.
Yeah. Or maybe like you can throw torches like a ninja stars or something.
I like the sound of that.
But yeah, so I mean this hexagonal grid allows for this kind of things, right? Like there's a clear vision of where things go, what the skills effects are, which areas they affect. something that we really want to do is also to make it very strategic through making certain skills combo. Like for example, let's say that your ranger is able to like throw these missiles, these arrows, and if it goes through like the fire, like a firewall of a mage, for example, then the arrows become they become empowered by the fire by making them fire arrows, for example. Or for example, you can take your guardian and put it into use a skill that raises his shield into the sky and allows for, let's say, a rogue to jump on top of it, and then the guardian will throw the rogue and throw it across the enemy lines, right, into where the rogue can do the best damage.
It reminds me of how if you ever played Final Fantasy IX, when you had Vivi and Steiner. Vivi's the black mage, he was able to like imbue Steiner's weapon with fire, so if there's two together, then you could have different combos of like fire and ice. Like a Dragon King could have like an ice move if it's one of the Frostwind ones, etc. There's so many possibilities of combos of like 3s and 2s and stuff. It's going to be all for you to think about, Belik. You've got to put all the work in here.
Definitely. No, for us, and well, which actually is a really good lead towards is how you're gonna start playing the game or playing the combat. Or testing it out, right? Then again, we have this mentality of throwing stuff as soon as possible to your hands to see if we're going the right direction, right? Because we're building this together. So our idea is that as soon as we have something worth playable, something playable, we're gonna use the tavern itself as a user interface to enter these things that we call verticals. So for example, there'll be like this furniture that everyone will have with a shield and swords and like a banner, and you're gonna place it. And this one is gonna be like a special furniture that if you click, it'll have a button that will take you towards the different tests that are happening right now on combat, for example. We might take them out and in with iterations, etc. And if we are able to grow horizontally the company, so that we can start like developing more of these verticals at the same time, like for example the tavern management or all of these other experiences, your resource gathering, etc. We're gonna use the in itself in this way for you guys to like start experimenting and giving your opinions. Say like, yeah, I like this combat, this was good. Oh, I have this great idea for this skill. Why don't we use this? Or hey, this ranger is too powerful. This ability is too powerful. Let's balance it, etc. So you guys will be part of this adventure for sure.
Can I just ask, Belik, will there be different environments in the future for these kind of battles? So, for example, one might be in a part of the world where there's like ice. So these little grids will be the battlefield will be the ice part, and then there might be like a nice meadow, for example. Is there going to be different places where we're going to be able to battle, or is it just going to be contained within the inn?
No, definitely there's going to be different places. I mean, right now we use the inn just because that's the art assets that we have right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
like a test environment.
Yeah, exactly. So we're being agile, right? So it's like there's maybe like little brawls here and there that sometimes can happen in the adventure taverns. But yeah, and definitely terrain is gonna be part of it. Then again, we really like the idea of you having a lot of strategy around the battlefield. So yeah, terrain, modifiers, etc. will play a big role. And also, like, even before the battle itself, once like the outer world is implemented, your adventurers will be affected by different things even before entering battle. Like, for example, if they've been traveling for a long time and they haven't eaten or rested, they will come with certain debuffs. Like, for example, they'll come with certain exhaustion, which will make their cooldowns for moving or for using skills like even longer, right? or stuff like this. So we definitely wanted to be a high strategy, very interesting with combinations of different adventures that you may have, a lot of different types of builds, still easy to get into, easy to understand in the beginning, but with a lot of depth. A lot of role-playing aspects in the sense of things that will happen before, even like certain skills that you have to prepare even before entering battle, like rituals, etc. And yeah, and we hope we can build something really fun together. Also, something, just to add one last thing, something that also we want to do just to increase the fun of making builds and making incentivize collecting is that some characters, so like epic characters and legendary characters, will have unique skills. So some skills that will be only available to those specific characters. So like, for example, the Crimson Demon, I'm just being hypothetical here, a bit creative. For example, her having like a big spell which depletes all her mana and like absolutely desecrates a whole area, right? With like a fireball or something like that.
We've got a question in the chat, Vedic, which I think is quite like not important, but one's good to ask right now. Is how will the death of pixel tiles be handled? Is there any news on how that will work?
Definitely. There's not only news, but a video explaining it, which is if you go to drunkendragon.games, there is a video called it's a high-level deep dive, a high-level concept deep dive video. It's one of the first videos in the web page, and in there we explain that we will have two game modes, the collector's mode and the adventurer's mode. And the collector's mode is going to be called the Eternal Realms, and the other one, the adventure mode, will be the Mortal Realms, and these are going to be like two parallel universes. This is designed for several things. The first thing is for you to have like an amazing, to decouple a bit, you having an amazing place to collect and an amazing place to play the game mechanics and make the game fun. And also to handle all the mortality of the different collectibles. So when you have adventures and furniture, you'll immediately have them in collector's mode, which is what it's already in alpha, so like building your dioramas, etc. But then if you want to play in the Mortal Realms, where you start really small and you're limited by your progression, which is what makes the game fun. You're only able to, let's say, import or transfer some adventures and some furniture from the Eternal Realms into the Mortal Realms, and you'll have to progress your inn and your adventurers through adventuring and trading and crafting and doing all of these different activities. And when one of your pixel tile or non-GMA adventurers die, there is this concept of permadeath, but not in the way of you losing your collectible or losing the ability of continue playing with your collectible. Instead, it will be transferred back into the collectors, into the Eternal Realms. There, his soul will be, you'll be able to expose again back your adventurer, but instead of just being an adventurer that you place in the tavern, it will display all of the achievements that he accomplished through his life, up to which level he was able to achieve. For example, we don't want to have a maximum level, for example, so if you are achieved like level 299, it's gonna appear there. All of the interesting things and big achievements, like, you know, he was able to kill so many players or kill so many monsters or do so many things. and then you'll have an option. You either leave it in the internal realms for glory, or you return it to the mortal realms as a level 1 adventurer and start his life all over again, right? So yeah, I guess I hope that this answers the question. Well,
Yeah, thank you. I've also linked the video in the chat a couple of times as well. So if people did want to kind of go and listen in, I think it's about 35 minutes long, but it really goes into the core of how the game's going to progress with these sort of questions being answered. So yeah, it's in the chat there. I've just posted it again for you all.
Okay, could you repeat that last part, Terror? Sorry, there was like a small interruption. Yeah.
That's okay. I was just saying that I've posted the link to that video in the chat so people can go and watch it and understand it a bit more of a deep dive into it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Awesome. Thank you, Terror. So the Empress Bunny here, she shared me one question from Blark, which reads, can GMAs keep their stats for transfers among players? Example on Eternal Realm.
Got there before me. That was going to be my next question.
Awesome. Well, still to be decided, right? I want to say yes, because if these persons take it and then transfer it into the mortal realms because they want to use it, then they will lose all of that, right? So then, in that sense, it's not pay to win. So that's awesome. But then people can still collect like high-level adventurers. So our opinion on that for now is yes. I mean, to all of these different decisions, which are very, let's say, sensitive regarding, GMAs are tradable for real life money, and there's a little bit more stakes. We want to be like super careful with these decisions and think them really truly and test them a lot through like alpha and beta releases. So we might change our mind if we find that there is an issue, a fundamental issue with some of these mechanics. But that's why we have these alpha and beta releases, so that we make sure that once the full game is released, things that cannot change later will not change, right? And are very well designed and thought of and well tried out in the alpha and beta. And of course, we'll make sure to find ways to reward all of those players that played and increased level in alpha and beta. And because of course, when we do the actual release of the game in a couple of in 1, 2, or 3 years, whatever the time it takes us, there's gonna be a reset on progression, so that everyone can start fair. But we'll definitely find ways to reward whoever is constantly participating with us and being part of the adventure. Alright, let's talk about the lore, but before that, let me just sip a bit of water.
That's also a check for everyone. You need to stay hydrated. If you haven't drunk anything yet, whether it's beer, coffee, tea, water, drink something. It's good for you, I promise you. Okay, maybe not beer, but yeah, water's good for you.
Alright. So, let's talk about the lore. Then again, for us, well, quick disclaimer, this image is from Valheim. This is just a reference image. But for us, it's super important that the world of Drunken Dragon is an actual fantasy universe. So that is, we want your collections and your adventurers and the world around it to be have a lot of depth, and for this to have much more than just pretty pictures or beautiful miniatures, right? Which is also valuable, but I think what is awesome is the actual creation of the universe. So as we have said before, we're gonna focus first on this region called Thjolden, which is a merciless land, full of demons, monsters, and there's a constant threat of there's constant threat everywhere and danger, and that's why a lot of adventurers are needed. So what I just wanted to share about this is that we're putting a lot of effort into it. We're thinking about which civilizations there are in this region, like what races there exist, which towns there are, what are the names, what makes them any special or different from between each other and against the, for example, other fantasy universes. What makes us special, right? We really want to go deep into, like, for example, crafting enough of a fantasy language and, you know, give a feeling to the phonetics of the names so that they're not just randomly taken, but so that we actually start creating cultures within our universe. This goes really deep, and it will take me a whole video of maybe 1 or 2 hours just to explain superficially what we're creating. But I must say that we have like some really cool concepts that you'll be able to explore once the season 2 of Adventurers come out. Alright, and talking about that, let's talk about season 2.
Another hot topic inside the inn is either GMAs to the tavern or season 2, so I think everyone's been waiting for this one.
Alright. So what we wanted to share with you regarding the season 2 is, and what we're actually really proud of at this point, is the development of the actual pipeline of building just one of these art pieces. Because then again, we want to be much more than just like an NFT collection. We wanted to have a lot of intrinsic value, because that's what we're creating, right? So the pipeline starts with the creation of the character itself, and then the creation of the product of the character. So the green squares are the steps required to create just the concept of one of the characters that we'll be introducing as an adventurer, and the blue ones, they're the process of creating an actual art piece. And this is why we're taking a long time in the development of this collection, because we want it to be like top notch. We want it to be like super high quality. And we'll start being a little bit more transparent about this and what we're creating, and that's why I want to share how we're doing it. In the process, you'll see, well, you'll have an early view of the adventurers that you'll see in season 2. So let's start. The first step is to figure out the highest level lore. So at this stage, we already have a definition of the region of Thjolden, of what the different cultures there are, and what is the flavor that we want to tell. But it's still at a somewhat high level. Through the process of this, of developing these characters, we also keep developing the world. So here we're really trying to start by saying, okay, what is the role in the world for this character? Who is this character? What do they do to live or survive, right? How did they get to this point, or what relationship do they have with the people in their country? So what is their role in society? Once we have figured that out, like for example with this paladin, we say like, okay, you know, for example, you'll see like from different characters right now, which are all examples of the different steps. But in here, for example, we start gathering references to further create the concept of the actual character. For us, using references is super important because we think that true creativity and originality comes from the smart mixture between already awesome things. Then we agree on what we call iconic aspects. So these are things that we think that are super important for this character and that should be featured in their design and in the further on down the line product development. So of course this is based on the previous steps, so based on the lore, etc., which we say. So for example, this one here is for a priestess of the goddess of fortune. So in this case, we were proposing the staff based on these facts. Well, actually, returning with the paladin, the next step is to actually do concept art regarding the character itself. So in this step, we actually try to go and propose several things for each iconic aspect of the character. In this case, for the paladin, it was the shoulder pads, the weapon, and the helmet. This, for example, this character specifically is a paladin from Auristar, which is this Vikingish looking civilization, which has a strong relationship with the stars, because they emigrated from the north into Thjolden a long time ago, and they have like this strong relationship with the sky and the stars, and that's why the paladin in this case has a relationship with the light, but it's not just the light, but the light of the stars and the northern lights. So this is something we wanted to show, for example, in the helmet with the different pointy edges, etc. Then this, for example, is from another character. In this case, we were doing a concept art of her Warhammer. This one actually is from Arin, the gnome that you already saw in the narration of Terror that we released last month. We're further refining those characters as well. Then once we have like this breadth of concepts, we do a consolidation, which is taking the things that we like the best into actually into creating an actual character. So for example, here's an example. This is a druid called Bodica, and she's a leader of her tribe. And in this case, we took the things that we think represent her very well, and then from all this breadth of concepts, we merged them into a final concept. So the one on the far right is the actual final concept that we have for this character. This, of course, then becomes an output that is used on the actual creation of the card. The first step on the actual creation of the card is figuring out the lore of the context in which we want to place a character. So of course, by now we already have like a good idea of who the character is and what is his role in society. So we want to like express a bit more is either his personality or tell the story of the activities that happened in the universe, in this case in Thjolden itself. Once we have that and we have like a written down description of the contextual lore, we gather some references to further illustrate these very abstract ideas. With this, we start what we call the composition proposals. So in here, we just focus on composition of the actual character. In this case, we are creating a cooker for your taverns, and we try to bring, in this case, we just focus on, what the camera angle is, what are the elements in the splash art, etc. Then again, we go through a consolidation or a merging of the different images or the different proposals. We discuss the things that we like about each one and why they're good, etc. And then it goes back to the lore team and to the concept art, which is figuring out, refine a bit more the lore about the specific context in which the character is. So this is just to enrich the elements of the card itself. So we further ask ourselves like even more specific questions, like what exactly do they do, what their activity, what is the role of the activity in the society, etc. We try to really go super fantastic here. With those concept arts, we also go with those references. We then again go and do even more concept art. In this case, it's concept art for the scene in which the composition already places the character. So this is concept art very specific to what we already have from the composition. Here you can see even more. So actually, from this character, all the concepts are from the bottom left. But you can see also some other environment concept art for other characters. Top right, there's concepts for one character which is called, it's an alchemist. It's a rune maker actually. Both on the right are for one cleric that we have. And on the bottom left, it's a lot of concepts that we did for the actual cooker. So once the concept artist is finished, we integrate these things into the environment of the card itself. And as you can see, the composition is respected, but it's enriched by all of these fantasy elements, which are already rich in lore, and which a lot of these elements are already a part of the universe of the Drunken Dragon. And by this moment, it's not just the card that has been enriched and has been refined, but it's also the universe behind it, which is also very good. We're achieving two things at the same time. And the final step is the refinement of the card itself into, transferring it into the actual pixel art. As you can see here, the final output is not just a splash art, but it's also all the lore behind it. For example, in the card on the left side by Killer Kun, we are telling the story of the Kulmir, which is a clan which gathers this thing called Aether, which composes all souls and all things non-matter. And they go through these lands called, or these biomes called the Raid Lands, which used to be settlements which were devastated by raids of monsters so terrible that the souls of the previous inhabitants still haunt these lands. But for the Kulmir, this is not a danger. These are not dangerous places. These are farming and hunting places, because they go there to collect all this energy from all of these lost souls, collect them back into the ether essence, and nourish from them. On the right side, we have a loot trader, and in here we already proposed like a bunch of fantasy items that you'll probably see in the game later on. So like the dwarf helmet, right? Like the different magic stones or runes or ingredients, etc. Yeah, so there's that for the creation of the we wanted to share the process in which we're currently also refining, and what I think mostly we wanted to show is why we're taking so long into creating the next series. And the answer is because we're putting our heart and soul, and because these are not just gonna be collectible NFTs, but they're gonna be a piece of the universe of the Drunken Dragon. They're gonna tell a story and be a way for you to experience the lore and the universe behind it, even before the game is out. That for us is super important.
I think what this shows, Velik, is just the kind of depths that the team are going to get this right. We're not just putting out any image and putting it in there and saying that'll do. There's so much thought and creativity and passion, and the reason that they're there is because they've been kind of worked on for so long, and the team have spoken against each other and worked out what is the best, so they've only come up with the best thing that they could. It's not just put a picture in there, that'll do, let's mint that. They've actually put lots of heart and soul and thought into the lore and thought about all the different intricacies of how it's going to look, and then spent time and effort coming to it. So I think that just shows the kind of depth of kind of what we're working with here.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, we definitely are putting a lot of passion into this, and we're trying to create the best creative possible environment for the creation of this, because passion and love is not enough. We actually need a smart way of executing this. So that's why we've been putting a lot of thought into the actual pipelines of things and the environment in which we work. I mean, every day we gather and give feedback to everyone in what they're doing. I mean, it comes we have this which is called the town hall, and everyone participates, and you know we have the bunny giving a lot of really good ideas, or you know, even like someone which doesn't belong to the team also like giving comments, etc., giving their own thoughts on things. Then again, this is the product of love to fantasy, and in the end, some of us are programmers, some of us are artists, but all of us we love fantasy, and that's why we work together into this. And this is why I wanted to show this to you, because we're also working on ways in which we can include the community into this process. We're the ones which are full-time into this, but the community, I really want to invite them to participate. There's some stuff I want to talk about at the end of the presentation, but before that, let's talk about merchandise.
When merch?
When merch? When we still don't have a date, okay? We're still we're starting to work into this, and there's some setups that we have to do, and also we'll be proposing. We're gonna start simple. So we explored a lot of things into what merchandise we can do, and we have a lot of really cool ideas. The community has given a lot of really cool ideas as well. But then again, we need to start small and then grow from there. The easiest for us is to create t-shirts and articles like this, and exploding we're already good at, which is I think is the art of the universe of the Drunken Dragon. So we'll be throwing concepts to you guys. I want to see. We're probably gonna figure out a way for you to like vote on the things that you like and that you will actually like to purchase, and hopefully this will not just make you guys happy, and for sure I'll have one of each because I mean, I'm personally liking the designs a lot by David. But this will also, of course, help us further expand the team and fund the further development of the universe of the Drunken Dragon, right? So then again, please go to Discord and tell us what you think. We're also gonna be working out on ways to process all of this information. For now, we have a private channel for all adventurers which reach like an epic level, or I don't know what the nomenclature is. I think it's what is the purple level on Discord if you chat a lot?
I'm looking right now. It's not Journeyman. I think that's the blue one. Hold on. It is Expert Adventurer, I believe.
Yeah, Expert. So if you're an expert adventurer, you're invited into coming into like closer ranks to the development team, and we throw ideas there. But we'll explore ways into like having like a closer feedback loop with the broader community. Of course, we have Terahertz, which he's amazing, an amazing community manager, and we'll be working on ways of further listening to the voice of the adventurers of the Drunken Dragon. But meanwhile, please be vocal if you like this.
Definitely drop by the General Tavern and come let us know.
Alright. So let's finish with something which I think is very special. The day before yesterday, something interesting happened, which was IHK approached us and they requested an interview with us and Charles Hoskinson, and I hope you guys saw it. And if you saw it, you heard at the end that I mentioned something called decentralized intellectual property. What decentralized intellectual property is the future of Drunken Dragon. Drunken Dragon will become a decentralized intellectual property. This is intellectual property, like let's say Star Wars, Marvel, etc., but which is governed by a decentralized entity or decentralized autonomous organization. We're doing this because our mission is to create the most epic fantasy universe for us to share and enjoy or love for fantasy. This means that Drunken Dragon Games as a company cannot be the only one creating this amazing universe. And then again, our core values are always towards the community. And I think that every blockchain project has to ask to themselves, what is the future of their industries with blockchain? We are companies that are not adapting to blockchain. We're companies that are being created with blockchain. So in our case, I personally think that the future of the entertainment industry will be empowered by NFTs, but it's gonna be way much more than NFTs and collecting crypto stuff. I think that the future is on decentralized governance. This means that in the Drunken Dragon universe, the community will be able to decide what happens with the universe. It will be able to decide which projects are funded. It will be able to decide what things are official or canon in the story. and it's going to be the community itself that is going to benefit from all the spoils of the continued development of the franchise. One way of explaining this is, imagine if the Star Wars or Marvel universe, you will be able to actually propose propose changes on the lore, or propose a comic, or build a series and propose it into a decentralized organization and accepted by the community, and then what you create becomes canon in the universe. I think this is truly special, because me personally, some of my favorite fantasy universes have been destroyed by centralized entities and companies and organizations. So in this way, we're ensuring that Drunken Dragon becomes the most epic and insane universe for everyone to enjoy. Now, of course, this is like a huge challenge ahead of us, and I wanted to share this a little bit prematurely, because, well, first because we talked about this in the interview with Charles Hoskinson, which I think was a really good opportunity, but also following our values of constant communication with all of you. So I'm gonna prepare a bigger presentation, a YouTube video presenting these ideas. I'm gonna make a white paper, and Drunken Dragon Games, the company, will present what our vision for a decentralized intellectual property looks like. And we'll also present a roadmap. A roadmap with a long-term vision and short-term action. There's going to be steps in which, for example, some things that, for example, will be in that roadmap is using Cardano's Project Catalyst technology for the DAO and the governance of the IP. Some stuff like, for example, the open sourcing of our code. Some stuff like, for example, figuring out the correct tokenomics that incentivize the production and the expansion of our universe, and that reward those who create amazing stories and epic products. So, at least what I can say right now is that in the short term, and as an immediate action to go towards this ideal of a decentralized intellectual property, we will make, starting from today, Creative Commons all of the art of the NFTs that you have and that we create. All of our connections, the intellectual property of the actual art, will be Creative Commons, which means that you own the intellectual property. If you want to take the Pixel Tiles or the Grandmaster Adventurers and make a game of your own, you can do it, because it's free for you to create your own story and create your own product. If you want to take the Grandmaster Adventurers and modify them a bit, you're welcome to do it. Starting from today, the art is actually a Creative Commons, and the ownership of the actual token is certified by the blockchain. And we will start with this, the creation of our a registry of collections. The registry of our collections are basically right now the Pixel Tiles and the Grandmaster Adventurers, and these are represented by the policy IDs on the Cardano blockchain. And we will continue bootstrapping the universe of the Drunken Dragon in a very centralized way, because it's going to be Drunken Dragon Games, the ones that have a saying on which policy IDs belong to that registry of projects which are considered canon or are considered the official ones. But as we move into the future, we'll find out the right tokenomics and the right technology and the right ways for the community to start having a stake into this and to start voting on which policies IDs become a part of the registry and become part of the official universe of Drunken Dragon. I then again really want to hear what you guys have to say. What are your ideas about this? Then again, the Drunken Dragon is a fantasy universe, but it's also something real. The Drunken Dragon is all of us here together. The adventurers of the Drunken Dragon. Our adventure is taking these brave steps into creating something truly special. And for us is right now making all of our art Creative Commons. And you'll be hearing from here and towards into the future all the different strategic steps that we'll take towards that decentralization of the Drunken Dragon. All right. With that, and just want to say thank you everyone for being part of this adventure. Welcome to all of those new to the Drunken Dragon. And then again, we'll keep deploying every week new versions of the game. We'll keep working on the new collections. We'll keep chatting in Discord. And thank you for being adventurers of the Drunken Dragon.
I was going to say, Vedic, my news tomorrow is going to be the longest news post that I've ever done because of the amount of content that's in here. So I'll try and sum it up the best I can.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's gonna be super awesome. I'm looking forward to those news, Terror. I see one question in the chat saying when a art library, and that's a really good question because part of the strategy that we're building towards that is opening a technology that we're developing internally called the art pipelines. This is a place where it's still not ready for usage, but it's gonna be the place in which the art teams will be outputting their work and later on used for product creation. Once the art pipelines are ready, we're gonna both open it to the public so that you can download the actual assets and download all of the art of the Drunken Dragon. And we will even like open source the actual code of the art pipelines for you to integrate it or even use it in your projects. Or if someone wants to take the leap with us and create a decentralized IP as well, then you'll have the tools. But yeah, opening or art libraries is also going to be one step, which we're not doing right now because we're not ready for it, but we will do it soon enough. All right, so let's just give a couple of minutes for questions. So if you have any questions, especially about this whole idea of decentralized intellectual property, but also about anything regarding Drunken Dragon, right now is a really good moment to ask. But
I'll pitch in with Vedic before people ask questions, give them a little bit of chance to actually ask. What I will plan to do is when some of the questions that you answered earlier, for example, the kind of deep dive concepts into how the GMAs will work, or how the NFTs will die, or the fungible tokens will die and move. I will make a video explaining all that with yourself as kind of the co-narrator, and we'll make it really, really super clear so that in the future everyone will understand exactly what it is and how it's going to play out.
Yeah, definitely. Something that we'll invest a lot in the next month is a lot of clear communication of what we're doing and how we're doing it, etc. And we're receiving an exponential growth of the community, and I definitely agree that it's super important that we make a lot of content so that it's super clear for everyone how all of this works. But of course, this will come after we write down an actual white paper um, explaining explaining everything to detail, and then some more friendly, approachable content for everyone else to understand. Like, there's things which I think is super important for everyone to understand, even beyond the Cardano community or the blockchain community, which is, I would love for people to start understanding outside the blockchain community why we're using NFTs and what is their advantage, and explain what how the technology works and how they can get started, not even with the game, but even before that, like get started with an actual like Cardano wallet, etc. So hopefully we'll also be a catalyst of bringing people into the Cardano ecosystem, and be part of this adventure.
I've actually got one question myself, if you don't mind, and
Yeah,
that is, do you know when the updated roadmap's going to be posted? Because I think that's a question that's been asked in the community a few times.
no, that's a super good question. The answer is this is some work that we had planned for February, like refine the updated roadmap. A lot of things have changed, and I think in a very positive sense. The rate at which we're developing it's really good. The rate at which we're growing is really good, and given that you guys enable us financially also through like the funding through our sales of the collections, etc. I think we can be more specific about what we're trying to build, what we will be building, and the rate at which we'll do it. So we'll refine that on February, and I think the roadmap at a high level is something that it's not gonna change a lot, but at the low level it's gonna be changing constantly. So we'll probably have like some tool, or we'll develop some tool or something to display what we're working on and the progress and what is planned for the short, medium, and long-term future. So this kind of transparency I think is super important, and that's planned for next month. But of course, something that I really want to do as soon as possible is finishing this white paper in which we explain the idea of the decentralized IP, so that also people understand that we're not just making a game, right? We're a universe, and we're empowered by the blockchain.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
Vim he's going to need to grasp all this content before coming up with questions. So I would imagine that a lot of people are probably going to have a little reflection on this video, and then obviously send us the questions. Tag myself, tag Vladik if you'd like to. I can put forward a list of questions if you want me to. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was a question there from Pre-Accident who said, "How is the royalty system going?" We explained that a bit earlier in the video, bro. So when we've gone off being live, have to go back and watch. I'll put timestamps in the next sort of 24 to 48 hours as well.
I think he means the royalties from like CNFT.io, etc.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, go for it. Answer that. Go for it.
No, definitely. I think I haven't checked them much, to be honest, but I checked the wallet I think recently. They're okay. I mean, they're not creating the amount of resources to like really expand a lot, but I think that's still to be proven, because royalties were like implemented relatively recently, so they still need to prove themselves to see like how that works. And of course a lot of the let's change camera. Hey world. Hey Terror. we change camera. Now the world
can
can
see
see
you.
us. Yeah, I think through the next months and years, we'll see what happens with royalties. I mean, if we do an amazing job and we end up creating some really cool collections, which you guys start trading a lot, for sure, I think that a lot of revenue will come from there, and that will definitely help us further expand, right? So at least we're receiving them, so that's good. And I guess one of the possible improvements they can do is make it as slightly more transparent through data visualization on how that's working. Like, but yeah, we'll see in the next months. We'll evaluate how good they are. All right, Terror. What do you say? Should we leave it there?
I think it sounds good to me. I think we've covered way too much stuff today in this dev blog. I think the audience are going to be very happy with all the content they've received today. I mean, I'm gonna go back and listen to it all again when I go to bed tonight. I'm gonna lay down and have a little listen through just so I can pick up on some of the key things and yeah, put it in the news tomorrow, of course. But yeah, we'll put the timestamps up in the next 24 or 48 so other people can come in, and we'll share the video out, of course, everywhere we can. Get it all around to all you people in the community. And any questions you've got, like I say, please send me a DM. Please send Velik a DM, or if you don't want to send him one, send it to me and I'll categorize them all and send it to him, and then we'll get all your questions answered.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Terror, for being here. Thank you, development team,
Thank you,
programmers, and artists for doing such an amazing job. Thank you to the community for being so awesome and so active and so caring. Please always remember to have empathy for each other and to welcome everyone into the Drunken Dragon. And with that, let's keep creating something epic together. Now more than ever. Cheers, adventurers.
Let's go! Cheers, everyone.
Bye bye.